Back, we have begun the winners brackets. We're going to kick it off with RDU versus Savjz. RDU sporting his team's deck with the druid, the priest, the dragon warrior, very standard stuff, and Savjz with his own semi-standard lineup, probably closer to what the rest of the players in tournaments are bringing. I think those are the three most popular classes, if I'm not mistaken. There have been a lot of warriors, but I think with today's participants, rogue might surpass warrior as the third most popular class in the tournament.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely been surprising to see rogue succeed so much, but at the same time, pretty cool. I mean, rogue is. I mean, honestly, rogue and shaman are two classes that people complain they don't see very often because of their relatively weak power level to the rest of everybody else. But rogue is showing pretty decent results. Part of the reason why it's losing is because it has to play so many mirror matches. It feels like.
Yeah.
But overall, it's doing a pretty decent job getting the win. We've seen all kinds of variations as well. Some oil variants, some not even oils. We just have to call it Violet Teacher Rogue now, and then really centering around gadgets and auctioneers and other stuff too. So I'm looking forward to see how it matches up against these dragon decks from G2, which seem to skirt by. Some of them have been really close series. Even Tice had some really nail-biting series as well. So
yeah, Tice did qualify on the first day, and his teammates RDU and Life Coach are currently in the winners brackets. So it is looking very promising. Maybe in the end, we'll have to face off against each other. could happen.
Yeah, no worries. It's okay though. Like I think in the end, if you just win your series, it's fine. At this stage, almost every person, I mean, pretty much every person who's won has revealed what deck they're playing. But if you get to the next stage of, like, let's say you lose here, you have to play against some people who haven't revealed a couple of their decks maybe. It does get a little bit nerve-wracking. So yeah, I'm really excited to see how far some of these guys can go, because it seems to be two strong chains of thought: the control-heavy sides or the aggressive heavy sides. And they're just going head-to-head.
Okay, well, it is going to be control versus aggro yet again. It's going to be this very aggressive shaman deck that we've seen time and time again against the dragon priest of RDU here. Now, the last time we saw these exact two decks match up against each other, Zele pulled some miracle victory. Will it happen again? I don't know.
Well, a couple things happened. The first is Zele saw his hand. He saw Elemental Destruction, Rockbiter, Doomhammer, Flame Juggler, and I think he drew like a Lightning Bolt or something like that. Oh, he also had like a Wolf Rider, so it was like, okay, well, this hand's not exactly great against a turn 1 Northshire Cleric. I could try to fight on board and ultimately let him draw cards and potentially snowball this game. Or I can try this completely from left field strategy of not playing anything and end up working. And a lot of people are, even us, can't really blame Life Coach for any of the decisions he made. In fact, it looked like he read it. So
yeah, it looks like he was playing perfectly. Yeah. Okay, well, there's the Harrison. An early Harrison draw and an early Elemental Destruction. That's going to kind of suck. It looks like this Shaman deck is going to be a little bit slow out of the gate here. But he does have the Warlock hero power now with Finley, and that's going to allow him to sustain as long as he wants.
Yeah, the punish onto the Northshire Cleric is huge. Can't draw cards. It also makes cards like even Abusive Sergeant itself much better. And, one of those things you have to think about is, sure, you have Harrison, but if Shaman ever draws it and it's more board-centric with how it does its damage, then it might not matter if you have Harrison Jones. We've seen some people be in situations where they can't play Harrison in anticipation for the Doomhammer, and the Doomhammer doesn't come.
Okay. Looks like the Farseer will not crush the early game this time, but the Twilight Whelp is going to see some play here with the Azure Drake draw, as it can now activate its Battlecry.
Yeah, that's not too bad. It still has the biggest minion on board by a fair margin, so it's good. I don't think your opponent would you like Lava Burst something like this to get the 3 damage, and maybe to preserve the board because your hand's not that great. Savjz just life taps here. Not bad. One drop.
Looks like he's going to go with a lightning bolt here.
Lightning bolt to preserve 1 damage.
Well, no, it's going to preserve the 2 damage. I think that's a reasonable play. I mean, he did coin it out. We do know that the G2 arsenal contains 6 Earthen Ring Farseers. So, I mean, every minion you don't kill is a minion that's going to punish your loose play.
It's a fair point. And the Farseers, of course, can double as healing to put yourself out of burn range, which is pretty huge. Savjz is going toe-to-toe with control. He's actually even using his rock biters to get past this. Really convinced that he has to control the board here, and he's going to sit on things like Elemental Destruction, which seems to be one of the interesting cards to how the Dragon Priests interact with everything else, because their minions are high health, but Elemental Destruction can sometimes reach it.
Worm Rest Agent yet again. These minions with like no attack values and a ton of HP are giving the priest such a huge health buffer.
Okay. Feral Spirit's pretty decent. Even potentially hitting into this Worm Rest Agent. What do you think about
that? He's doing this in order to play around Holy Nova. If he'd have a Holy Nova, it would trade with the board now. Otherwise, he could attack and then Holy Nova.
Makes sense. No Holy Nova yet, but we do have Farseer plays. We do have Azure Drake plays. Azure Drake would make Holy Nova better if it picks it up. It does also give up your last dragon, but you're not drawing because you're going to be playing Cabal Shadow Priest next turn, most likely.
Right. I'm pretty happy with the Azure Drake play. I don't think he can really do much better than that.
Yeah. Well, Tunnel Trog can start benefiting off of some of that overload, but we'll see how far these things can go, because they're still far away from threatening lethal, and Savjz still looking for that Doomhammer, but I don't know if he actually really wants that Doomhammer if he knew what his opponent was holding.
Let me change your mind.
Yeah, I mean, right now it feels like the priest is gonna struggle to maintain enough cards. So the only way that changes is if the Doomhammer hits the board. Okay, Lightning Bolt and Argent Horse Rider. Not enough mana to Rock Biter the Argent Horse Rider though. Does that matter?
Probably. I don't know. I really do like the ability to life tap sometimes against Priest, but at the cost of your board is pretty intense.
Yeah, if you use like Lightning Bolt and life tap, you're gonna overload for 3. Ooh. And then, would you consider trading? Oh man. It's pretty rough here.
Probably just face. It's a lot of damage to miss.
It's so much damage to miss.
And I don't think you're in a position where it's like, oh, he's trading.
He's trading the Lightning Bolt. Okay.
Man, Savjz real. He's playing Control Shaman. I don't really. That's pretty much what it is. It just happens to have fast cards.
Wrecked.
Whoa. The ultimate punish. Holy Smite. Feels real bad, man.
I think it's good enough to play the North Shard here. The Shaman can't really deal with even 1 attack minions very well, so.
I just feel bad for Savjz. He's invested so much into the board, and every couple turns, the board's clear and Priest is at full health. And now he's investing more of his mana into drawing a ton of cards. There he finally finds a Doomhammer, but that's also going to get destroyed.
Oh, that's a little bit too quick. Elemental Destruction is going to crush the Priest again.
Yeah, but the Priest can just draw cards. Like, part of the reason why Life Coach struggled as much as he did in that state was he didn't have any cards outside of, like, Nefarian at that moment, right? So I think if Savjz ends up playing, like, that Doomhammer soon, could be in trouble. Although one thing to consider is that because he's overloaded, he's like unable to play the Doomhammer immediately. So in some ways, it's like a blessing in disguise, that overload.
Mm-hmm. I wonder if the Totem Golem was meaningful there. He's overloaded for 5, right? Oh no, he's overloaded for 7. He could have overloaded himself for 8, and then Flame Shock or Lava Shock would have been 2 mana exactly.
Yeah, he still can Lava Shock. He still can flame. God dang it, Grip.
I'm sorry,
he still can Lava Shock and unlock all of his crystals to use the remaining 8 here.
Mm-hmm.
Picks up Abusive Sergeant. I mean, this is part of the reason why a lot of times Aggro Shaman can be considered a strong favorite against Priest, Dragon Priest, is that Dragon Priest like can't really finish the game, and Aggro Shaman still has plenty of time to draw into what should be game-ending burst. But that one X factor is that Harrison Jones, and that's if and only if you'll ever see the Doomhammer come out here. I mean, Savjz could be going next level and just avoiding the Doomhammer plays until he has like double Rockbiter to go for 16 damage.
Get in there and fight, maggot.
All right. Well, looks like he wants to clear the board still as much as possible. Still.
Yeah, trades with this Twilight. Nah, now Ardu's like, well, do I just pass? I mean, he's at 30 health.
Yeah, he's also got double Holy Nova. Double Holy Nova, I think, kills every single card in this deck, by the way.
Yeah, there's no 5 health minions. There's no death rattles that are like hard to get past. So, yeah. And that should be like pretty much playing the 3 minions on the right. You just want to keep loading up some more board tension.
Oh man, he's gonna get destroyed by double Holy Nova. He's playing out his whole minion base.
Yeah. He's holding back the Totem Golem, so ultimately it won't be the end-all be-all, but like Savjz life tapped for like 5 turns in a row. You know, I wonder if he was inspired by the game that he saw Zalay do.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like, he's almost going to be fatigued out. He only can life tap 2 more times, or even just 1 more time he taps, he's in danger of dying to like some immediate burst. He's just going to deck out soon.
Yeah, he's only got 4 cards left.
It's time to Harrison, and then, or to play Doomhammer, get Harrison, and then Doomhammer again anyways.
Savjz knows. Savjz knows it's coming.
Yeah, he's well aware, but it's one of those things where he knows that if Priest draws that many cards, he has to try to end the game very soon. That's why I think he was hoping for another Rockbiter.
Wow! Look at that.
Well, if he didn't draw that, he was certainly bound to. He's going to go through a huge portion of his deck. Another important card, the Power Word Shield. Savjz already used the Earth Shock, and he knew, he's like, oh god, he had that Harrison Jones. But Savjz, he's been holding that since the very beginning of the game. That's been there for, you know, solid, almost like 10 minutes now.
Whoa, Blood Mage. What?
It gives him the burst.
I guess.
You have to wonder, though, was there too much board-centric plays for Savjz? Or maybe that's just the way you feels like you have to win against the Priest.
I think he has to Lava Burst the 3/8, and then Lava Shock the 5/4. Then play the Charger on the 5/4, then Doomhammer face.
Does that give you enough crystals to do everything? I don't think you can actually Doomhammer right this turn.
Okay.
You only can play the Blood Mage, which conveniently gets you close to fatigue. You have to kill the Harrison Jones. And are
Nope, not lethal.
close to lethal.
It's 3. He's at 3 HP here.
Let me change your mind.
He's just gonna play keep away for now. There's really no rush.
Yeah.
Dragon Priest surviving. And then
I don't see how
Oh, he life taps.
this happens.
That's going to be it. So
Absolutely no chance.
just playing keep away, and the aggro shaman fails yet again to the Dragon Priest.
Wow, Fredon, you're looking real good there. I didn't realize you dressed up for the occasion as well as you did.
What can I say, man? I'm a showstopper.
All right, well, certainly Savjz's shaman has stopped once. It's still this warrior deck that my faith hasn't been like fully restored in yet. I mean, it's had some decent results today, but he's still absent pretty hard here.
Yeah, we also still have yet to see Savjz's Dragon Priest in action, which is a very different take on what G2 wants to do. He's got the Arcanized Soul Priest, he's got the Circle of Healings and the Entombs, almost borrowing a huge chunk from the Control Priest. There's that weird tech that we saw that differentiates some of the list here, the Arathi Weaponsmith. One of the cards that's really given a little bit of mid-range life to the Dragon Warrior.
It definitely seems like the G2 deck lists are very well refined. I think you can tell that they worked as a team to come up with more refined lists than most players in the tournament, I would say.
Yes. I definitely agree that that's a really strong way to play, and they all happen to be sprinkled across the bracket too. One of the biggest tragedies is you do all this prep for that, and then you face your teammate in the first round or something.
All right, well, it's looking very good for the shaman in this case.
Yeah, now we finally have an opportunity to leverage board, which just never seemed to happen. And Feral Spirits,
this is insane.
Especially if the juggles land onto Bran.
I want one juggle to land. You don't want two.
Well, you can just trade the Leper Gnome.
Would you, though?
I guess you
Oh, 0! Never lucky.
Can you ignore it? I don't know.
Oh,
Probably
God.
not. Alright. We're going for it.
He's gonna get 2 weapons from the Arathi weapons.
Dual wield. 4/6 Druid of the Claw for 4 mana. 5
Still very behind on the board, though.
Is going to come up next, too. That's the big thing. Let's see. Abusive gives you a juggle, which could end up giving you the snipe onto the Twilight Guardian, but I'm not sure if you want to give up.
I think you want Abusive of the Leper Gnome, and you suicide both the 2/1 minions. I think the Knife Juggler is still too valuable to give up.
Okay. It's true because you have taunts, right? And they can't get through it yet.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
I wonder.
Putting it on the taunt minion because he's almost certain to trade that.
Like, that juggle actually kind of sucks.
Yeah. But, you know, it was almost any way you combine it, the best juggle was probably Phase.
Yeah, definitely.
He still has opportunity to use Rockbiter as well.
Oh, wow.
Preserving his
as
taunt.
much
He's
damage.
valuing the Trog a lot. So much damage. Pretty cool way to look at it,
Wow.
but
that's a lot of damage. I think he's got to play the monkey and the cruel task here.
yeah, I'm definitely on that side as well. Farseer doesn't like you're still looking at 7 damage on board after you cool Taskmaster, and Farseer stops 3 of that damage. Monkey stops 4, so Monkey's just a little bit better. Plus, it challenges the Trog, so it forces the other 2 attack minions to go through. However, Doomhammer is waiting on the other side.
Is Doomhammer the best? Doomhammer essentially gives you it gives you 6 damage. The Lightning Bolt and the Rockbiter give you 7 damage. Is there a sequencing here where it works? So 4 in there, and then 3 plus 7. No, he has 2 damage off lethal. He has to Doomhammer and set up for lethal next turn.
All right, Doomhammer it is, and I mean, there's still no rush. Warrior can't really turn it away, even if he got Harrison Jones. I needed a 1 mana Tree of Life in order to establish back the game. So, there it is. Game series is tied just like that. Shaman got the important win. Dragon Warrior resumes its normal ways that we're accustomed to. But, I mean, that was a great start for the Shaman. One of the best you'll see. An unchecked juggler going into Tunnel Trog, leading into Feral Spirits. Come on. I mean, how does it get any better than that?
Yeah, it almost doesn't. It almost doesn't. I think the double Trog into some Overload shenanigans is probably slightly better, but it's not much better. All right, well, the Druid Mirror has commenced here. I think Savjz is playing... I think most of the players in the tournament are playing very similar Druid decks, while G2 has definitely refined some of the secondary decks a lot more than some of the other players. I think the Druid lists are still very standardized.
The one difference is Ragnaros. We still haven't actually seen Ragnaros make a significant impact. So while we, praise G2 for being able to step up and introduce some cool concepts to decks building and lineup assembly, but Ragnaros has also been questionable. It's cool because we really don't see the big game hunters. So Ragnaros seems to have been a good call on paper, but the impact has been minimal. Like, actually, Ragnaros costed life the game, and
that's true.
Also, someone else was hitting the 2/2. It was RDU. RDU hit Firebat's 2/2 instead. So they've been better off playing like Sylvanas or something else like that.
All right, pretty standard opener here.
Yeah, Darnassus Aspirant. Forcing a reaction from your opponent, and it's okay because you want your opponent to be hero powering the Aspirant, make them float mana inefficiency. That Wrath was pretty nice draw given the circumstances.
Yeah, it allows you to push for a bigger board. Next turn you have the 2/1/1s along with the Keeper, and you really have to save that Innervate for the Ancient Door.
It's just a difference maker between getting that successful wild growth or not. If you say he doesn't have that ramp, then you'll see RDU coin Druid the Claw and protect that. And then he has Azure Drake. And then all of a sudden you find yourself 3 mana crystals behind because of it.
Ooh, that Innervate, that is a big deal.
Innervating
out an Emperor just makes everything more awesome.
My god. And it hits Force Nature's
combo. Yeah.
It's like, sure, hitting minions is great, but now... And it doesn't look like it's going to get checked because the best play is the Innervate 7 drop. I mean, unless Savjz feels so compelled to use Force of Nature to clear it.
I think he will play the Ancient of War. Yeah, it looks like he is. The Ancient of War just allows him to maintain aggression, while the Ancient of Lore is mostly investing in the future, but his future is doomed because his opponent is going to have like a 10 mana discount.
Well, you can play the Druid of the Claw to protect your Thorson a little bit better, but that's where Force of Nature actually becomes very good. To clear the board, keep pressure up. So as much as this might look alluring, because you're like, oh yeah, I want more, it's actually not that great for RDU here.
Well, at the same time, he does have a 5 mana, 14 damage minimum combo. That's pretty good.
Yeah, you're right. If he picks up Force of Nature number 2 on 10 mana, he can Force of Nature, coin Savage Roar.
God.
That's right.
Druid.
It's a possibility, and it might even become a reality. That, I believe, is... let's see, that's 24 damage.
He can coin out his own Ancient of War. I kind of like that. It doesn't get challenged by the board as it is. I mean, the Azure Drake really doesn't accomplish anything on the board. Only if you think your opponent won't kill it, then it'll be great with a Savage Roar combo, but I think that's very optimistic.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those situations where you just need to climb back onto the board as quickly as possible. And so the Ancient of War is that ticket there. But in the meantime, Savjz is starting to hit some of his... I mean, he's starting to get really good stuff in his hand. High quality stuff. Ancient of War will pick up more cards. Emperor Thorson will reduce all those costs. Azure Drake will keep the gas going, or even act as a necessary stopgap for pressure and being able to get spell power bonus. I really like all of that. And he's also one Savage Roar away from being able to threaten his own combo.
Mm-hmm. I like the Ancient of Lore here. The Emperor doesn't really discount cards that are very important right now. Makes the attack with a 1/1 to kind of threaten a little bit better situation with the swipe, I guess. Or MC Tech. Alright, well, what can we do here? We can do Wrath and combo. That's pretty nice.
Wrath combo. Jeez.
On 7 mana.
That actually might be the play to stabilize the board. You have a 5/9.
You can clear the board with combo.
Yeah, I think that's actually the play. Which is pretty humorous. You don't really see it cleared like that. Savjz is not going to be happy to see his board clear, but he does have other stuff to play. I guess also this big concern is whether or not he can check this Ancient of War, which looks like he can. He's got the Silence to do 4 damage to it, and then he's got the Savage Combatant.
Yeah, just to threaten a trade. But he is going to get punished. The Azure Drake swipe is going to take care of that Savage Combatant.
Yeah, even if you didn't have Azure Drake, you could have just swiped it normally as well. Would you play Emperor then? If you're you can't really play around that. There's no way.
No, the Ancient of War is too big of a threat. If only some of these players had Black Knight. Whoa, the minions vanished.
Wow,
Sorcery.
that's a great magic trick.
All right.
Like we're just switching POVs, a little quick spectator bug there. The second swipe, not really that relevant. The first swipe still being the most impactful thing here. It's a little bug, guys. Don't worry. Savjz did not switch, or RD did not switch to Dragon Priest all of a sudden. Just using a little makeshift cover. Savjz, in the meantime, he still has some gas, right? Even Wild Growth, if he can get that card cycle, he can even still have room to hit something really nice with the Emperor Thorson. Because RDU's at 15 health, so if he can just get past this Ancient of War, you'll be in a good spot.
No,
oh wait, sorry, I'm still looking at the old board state. He's already passed it, right? He already
kind of. He passed it, but he didn't kill it. Here we go. This is more appropriate view of the situation.
Yeah, and I think you just kill the Ancient of War because even if you hit the face, there's just a lot of cards that can really punish you, and you don't want to leave that war up.
And I mean, you just got comboed. Are you really getting comboed by the other exact combo pieces already?
Yeah, it's unlikely. But again, we got told that this is a spectator bug. We rejoined, so we're just gonna have to fly on Savjz's cam as the main POV. Apologies, guys, for flipping on you, but the bottom player is Savjz, the top player is RDU, and we're on RDU's turn here. Keep in mind that RDU had the second swipe. He's gonna heal power pass. Oh my goodness.
Well, I think swipe was the only card in his hand last turn. So it seems like he didn't really draw anything more than that.
That's a big swing opportunity for Savjz.
I think I'd like to see the Wild Growth first. The Wild Growth might produce like another Ancient of War, which I think is probably worth playing now. Somewhere in space.
Yeah, that seems reasonable. I mean, I wouldn't blame him for doing the draw plays as well, like Wild Growth, Azure Drake, Mind Control Tech. Just get deeper into your deck. You want to find Savjz to end the game. Like, you don't want the game to drag out too much, and you're not going to end the game by playing Thorson and Mind Control Tech. It's only 14, 15 damage next turn. So it's all reasonable. It depends on what you really feel like is your best chance to win. And minion pressure is generally really good.
Okay. Well, he's going to be 1 damage off with this line of play.
Yeah, and now it's up to RDU to generate a response. Or are we on... Or is it Savjz's turn? It looks like it is Savjz's turn. My apologies. I think I had that flipped then.
I'm not sure. I think Savjz is the one who was recovering. I think RDU is the one who is on the play here, trying to figure out a way to deal with the Thorson.
Okay, yeah. From the cams, it looks like that, because RDU is leaning in pretty closely, furrowing his brow, trying to figure out the best line here. If he clears, then he's spending his entire turn doing that, not developing the Ancient of Lore.
Oh, here we go. Ooh. All right. So I guess this is swipe face and trees clean up the board.
So he's going to be... That's the second Force of Nature.
Yeah, no more combo.
Huge information for Savjz. Picks up the Azure Drake, and Wrath not really doing much, so I guess you can cycle in any way you want. Wild Growth as well. You want to hit that 5-mana minion. That's oh so nice. Druid the Claw would be mint.
What's he gonna get here? Not quite.
That's kind of a blank for now. One of the best cards you can get in the start of a turn, but not really at this moment. Savjz just going to pass it over. RDU needs to swing it one more time here.
He doesn't have any swipe or anything like that left either. He's got no swipes, no force. His main source of burst is actually Ragnaros, but it's going to be difficult to deal with all those little things.
Yeah, Rag, once again, not being the best possible card he can draw to finish the game.
I wonder.
Would you Wild Growth first to see what you draw? Or would you Ancient of Lore?
I don't know if there's any one card that really helps you here. Ooh,
Yeah.
wow. Healing
Heals.
himself. I feel that might just doom you.
Well,
Like, it's not, you don't have any more combos in your deck, so while you do stay alive a little bit, how are you going to win this game?
Ragnaros finish maybe. The Wrath though is so big. Wrath for 5? Jeez.
Yeah. Happens all the time.
Oh my goodness, that's so much. And now I think RDU completely locked himself out of this game, unless there's one last surprise that we're not expecting here. Not it.
Well, that is a pretty poor surprise.
Yeah, one more chance.
Yeah, Ragnaros killing a 4-mana minion, I believe, prevents him from dying. Or a 4-attack minion. Well, that'll do, actually. That would make it so he doesn't lose immediately.
It's slightly better than Ragnaros because you can see hero power. Take out another minions for Savjz Roar to have less impact to kill him. But it doesn't matter because Savjz is still on a Savjz Roar with the Force of Nature to win the game.
I wonder.
He's really taking his time here because he's thinking how he can possibly win. And I think the main way that he does is actually Savjz Roar now. Savjz Roar now will make it so if this opponent doesn't hero power and he top decks Ragnaros, hear me out, and then hero powers the Druid and doesn't die, and Ragnaros hits face,
Stop, Rip.
that would be lethal. But this is the type of things that you are thinking about, like when
Yeah, you are. You're right. You're right.
when you're in this situation you just have to see how you could possibly win, and usually it's on the back of some really outrageous scenarios.
Yeah, it's a good point. A lot of those times you have to think, what are my outs? What are the situations where I actually have a 1% chance to win? When you have $30,000 on the line in the prize pool, for these online tournaments, you definitely want to. But I know for guys like RDU too, it's even more than that. It's also about pride and being able to prove to all the haters. RDU still feels like there's people who doubt his legitimacy as a player, so he always feels like he wants to showcase skill when he can. And in these cases, spotting the 1% and getting it is the hardest thing to do.
Mm-hmm. Well, from what it looks, I don't believe there's any way RDU is going to do anything this game. But I think playing for the Ragnaros finish is his best chance, and that does involve Savjz, I believe.
Most likely, yeah. It looks like he's just gonna do it to the face, just so he can have Ragnaros. Oh. Okay.
Yeah. I think you could kill the 4-2, increase your chance of staying alive, and then Savjz for 3, put him at 8.
Yeah.
Ragnaros is better out. But it doesn't matter. There's no way that was happening. And it looks like Savjz has taken the lead once again here.
So 2-1 in favor for Savjz, who's 1 game away. I believe his last class is a priest and not a... Was it a rogue? I thought it was...
I think it was a rogue. No, I think Savjz that did not bring priest. We can check the deck titles that we were giving. Savjz brought druid, shaman, and priest to the tournament. Well then, acute observations.
Well, I remember specifically that Savjz brought a half control, half dragon priest. Mm-hmm. And when we say control, I mean Dragon's Priest generally still wants to play a control-ish archetype, but Control Priest is even more late-game centric and very spell-centric, while Dragons are very minion-based. They like to play a lot of early curve and hit a lot of powerful minions that buff each other. Savjz's deck is unfortunately sometimes awkward with how it uses its Circle of Healings with the flash heals and Alkanized Soul Priest in relation to Dragons. Because, sometimes you just really want to heal your minion back up and you have Soul Priest on the board.
Alright, well,
Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness,
combo.
That is the dream! Back in the day, Priest couldn't really beat Druid that consistently, but if you could do this, it was one of the best at doing it. Oh man, now RDU has no answer to that.
No, his hand.
It's got inner
This
range
hand is
to
just
nothing.
junk. It's
wow. Oh no, he's closing his eyes. He doesn't even want to look at the screen anymore.
Oh man.
And he hits a dragon with the buff. This is starting to get really snowbally. Yeah. I guess he can at least silence the 2/6.
Yeah. It is a play.
I must safeguard them.
It's definitely one of the better plays.
That's like the only play, really. I mean, he had to play the keeper no matter what, right? So if he had to play the keeper, it was just more convenient this way for him.
Yeah, but Priest already survived the worst part of the game, which is Druid ramping and hitting reasonable minions and Priest not having a board, and now Priest has a board. It's going to be even hitting better quality minions with bigger impacts, and if the board if something significant ever came out, he'd still be able to effectively address it. Shadow Word Pain. Oh my goodness. Right on cue. You just use it and you start pushing. You don't want to give up too much of your board.
Yeah, you want to entomb an Ancient of War. You want to make You want to make these plays while you can.
Or in the worst case scenario, Ragnaros, Ragnaros would be pretty effective against Priest of all decks.
Alright. Well, the Druid has a lot of cards now and it's ramped pretty well. The big minion advantage is going to fairly quickly dwindle away. It's still going to be present for the next couple turns, though.
Yeah, one thing that was really relevant was that Savjz missed a legitimate turn 4 play. At best, he just healed his 4/7 back up, which is okay, but he wanted to develop another minion. And
well, that turn 6 play was pretty horrible from the Druid as well.
Blackwing Corruptor or Azure Drake with Flash Heal. I kind of want Azure Drake, Flash Heal because you still have another dragon for the Blackwing Corruptor, and you get to keep your minions on board. Plus, Azure Drake gets out the spell power, so that Holy Nova is more relevant too.
Here we'll have to see an Ancient of War, I believe. It's very good on this board, and you've seen a death play out. There's no question that RDU will play this, and Entomb will make him pretty unhappy again.
Yeah, it's a nice minion. It looks even nicer in my deck, is kind of what you say it when you tomb your opponent. And RDU's just going to be pretty crushed, because he has a lot of resources and cards, but he's dying. And in fact, it's represented lethal next turn. He has to be defensive somehow. Maybe Teacher Swipe?
Yeah, I guess Teacher Swipe is what it is. If there was a little bit more damage, like if there was another Wrath, there could be the swipe double Wrath play to maybe stabilize, but it doesn't really look like there's going to be much happening here, as RDU just won't be able to come back on the board, and even if he does, it'll probably happen over the next 2 or 3 turns. And in 2 or 3 turns, there's going to be a Ysera down, and there's absolutely no way he's dealing with that.
Yeah, tough stuff overall for RDU. I don't know what's the best. I still think swiping probably be the best play, but he chooses to wrap as well.
Just to get that big minion off the board. But I feel like now in the game, the Smith minion is actually more threatening towards pushing for lethal.
It's weird, man, seeing Priest be the beatdown, but that's what happens when you get out the early circle of healing with the injured Blade Master, and it got even worse when you still had the Valence Chosen on that creature. It's pretty nutty.
Looks like he's going to bet on a Force of Nature clear. That's very indicative of that hero power play there. And I think because of that, you probably want to taunt up rather than pushing for any creative plays.
I get 5 damage in, and if your opponent Force of Nature Savage Roar clears and you play Ysera, the only downside is you lose all your dragons by doing this. So Blackwing Corruptor, not getting the initial value, but you have to clear this.
Yes, you do. You absolutely have to clear this. You have to combo defensively. You're going to be on 6 HP, and you're going to have a clear board. Now, in terms of draws, I don't believe there is any one card that the Priest can draw to seal out the game instantly. So, I don't know. Maybe in some extreme outside chance, there's something that can happen here. But it looks astoundingly unlucky, if it would.
Yeah, no early game plays to innervate out despite having it. Hero powering on turns 1 to or it's on 2 and 3. And Priest able to get out such a big tempo that it didn't really matter. And then finally, that's where the hero power can actually be one of the most dominant, because it has those big minions to let it scale. You need to try, you can get it clear, but you're still very far from a win. And when Lady Ysera hits the board, it's just going to be the beginning of the end here. I foresee Savjz walking away with 3-1, but we'll see. I mean, we can also have nothing happen.
Ancient of War.
Oh, you should have upgraded it. Yes.
There's Awakens too.
That's it. I think you wouldn't blame RDU for conceding here. You can't actually deal with Ysera. He can silence it, but then it's just a big minion attacking him every turn.
Pay attention, class.
He's gonna try one more time. Wild Growth Cycles.
This is actually a good play. He's trying to flood the board with small minions in order to perhaps push for a big Savjz Roar board clear. He's going to be on just a few points of HP here, though.
Now, I want to personally see a uprooted Ancient of War into a...
Then Awakens.
Yes!
Oh my god.
Oh.
No! This!
Too nice. That probably gets a 0 out of 10 from me.
0 out of 10 BM.
0 out of 10.
But he does move on. Savjz is going to take the match over RDU. RDU will be moving into the decider game. RDU is not out. This is the winner's round. So Savjz, being the winner of the winner's round with a 2-0 score, will be the first player from Group B to move on to the finals tomorrow. RDU will drop to the level below. He'll have to be playing, I believe it's Firebat, who was the winner of the losers match. But that will have to wait a little bit. Coming up next, we'll have the second winners match for you guys between Ostkaka and Life Coach, I believe. In the meantime, we have an update for the second losers round. It was Super JJ versus Zele. Super JJ took those matches 3-1. So I guess the mid-range Shaman has pulled out a win, and we will see just a little bit more of that.
The dream is alive. That's right. Well, we'll see what happens between this match here. The winner moves on between Ostkaka and Life Coach to day number 3. The loser has to play against a mid-range Shaman. Quite interesting indeed. Big shout out to our sponsors as well, Geek Fuel, the Curse Network, Hearthstone, as well as the Innkeeper. Cool little thing to help you build your decks. Just check it out. It's all over our promotions and whatnot. Helps you spot the cards that you're missing when you're building those meta decks to help you climb the ladder. In the meantime, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to have our next match. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned.